Hello there everybody, my name is Taylor Dresden and welcome to my channel. So this week I have another serious video for you guys, and you know what? Sorry about it. But actually I do have a very special project in the making. As you can see behind me, I've got a little bit of a different setup than normal. Well, this was so I could work on it a little bit easier. So this is very exciting. It should be up sometime in the next couple weeks, but we shall see. Alright, so this week's video is kind of inspired by a few not so great events that have happened this week. This week's video is on religion, tact, and tolerance. I'm sure you're all so excited. But anywho, the other day in class, I was doing literary analysis, because that's what you do in English, when I happened to have a rather unfortunate series of events. I happen to live in the Bible Belt in North Carolina, where every single person you meet goes to church every single Sunday. And unlike most people here, I'm also an atheist, which doesn't sit so well with a lot of them. Well, during this literary analysis, this included a section, or a brief mention of Judas, who in the biblical story is the one who betrayed Jesus, but that's not important. What's important is that I very nearly said the biblical myth of Judas. But I stopped myself and I thought, you know, I really shouldn't say biblical myth because I'm going to offend a lot of people. But as it turns out, I didn't think that. I actually said that out loud. So I was appalled because, I'm gonna be real honest, I'm not that tactless. There is a fine line between expressing your opinions and being really tactless. And this was kind of one of those things that was really in that gray area in between. Because while it's not necessarily offensive on its own, it just happens to be for a lot of people. But anyhow, of course there was backlash with that, but I did get a lot of great support from my friends, many of whom are Christians. I got some rather unfriendly comments on Twitter, and a few even saying that I should just find better ways to express my opinion, or express them in places where I'm not likely to offend as many people. Which, you know, at first I took as, you know, that's probably a good idea, but then I realized it really shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter that I consider the biblical story of Judas a biblical myth, just as it doesn't matter to me that you consider the biblical story a biblical fact. So really, I'm thinking about it, why does it matter to so many people? I mean, obviously everyone's raised in their own beliefs and they all believe their own things. But you know what? Why can't we just have a tolerance for that? But no, every single time it always erupts into some unnatural theological warfare, which, to be real honest, nobody wins. Let's take a step back here. Let's look at this, you know, whole theological argument based with the whole idea of a god versus not having a god. Neither is provable. Now, a lot of Christians believe in Genesis, whereas a lot of atheists believe generally in whatever scientific advance comes. Now, a lot of people will believe in the Big Bang Theory, and however, the Big Bang Theory is really just badly named. In physics, the Big Bang does not necessarily describe a point in time where everything in the entire universe was condensed into one tiny spot. The Big Bang refers to a point in time where all of the seeable universe was in a space so small that we can no longer discern time. What that implies is that the universe has just really been around for eternity. A lot of Christians will argue, no, the universe has not been around eternally because God created the universe. Whereas a lot of atheists will have the comeback of, well, who created God? And really that's where all the argument stops. Because there's no way to prove one way or the other. But honestly, none of it should matter. The whole thing is that you can believe what you want and believe it however strongly you want, but the whole idea is that you need to have tact about it. You need to state your opinions in a way that really is not rude. I mean, you can't avoid offending people because that's impossible. Someone's going to be offended by anything you say, anytime you say it, in any way you say it. But you just need to say it in a way that's tactful. Also, it shouldn't matter because you should also be tolerant. And this goes for anything. People should not have to repress their opinions just because they're a minority in the crowd. The majority should recognize that just because they're a majority doesn't mean that they are all encompassing. But that's it for this week's video, guys. It was another really somber one, and I'm sorry for that. But next week, I'll see if I can do something a little bit more lively. But until then, I will see you guys later. Goodbye. Okay, one last thing I forgot to mention. Tyler Oakley, who a lot of you probably know through his channel, is actually doing a fundraiser through Prizio to help support the Trevor Project for his birthday. So if you guys go to prizio.com/Tyler, you can donate to join the cause and win a lot of cool prizes at the same time, and a chance to get flown out to LA and meet him in person. So, yeah, go donate.